Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're digging into something really practical, the business development executive interview.
Yeah, it's a big one for anyone looking to move up or sideways in that field.
Exactly. We're using an article from Kleiman as our guide. It's called 16 Business Development Executive Interview Questions and Answers from back in July 2022.
And it's a good starting point. Our aim here isn't just to list the questions, though.
Right. We want to get under the hood, understand why employers ask these things. What are they really looking for?
We're unpacking the skills, the experiences, the whole mindset they value when hiring someone to, well, drive growth.
So if you're maybe prepping for an interview or you're just curious about business development or, what makes someone good at it, this should be helpful. Let's jump in.
Sounds good. What's useful about this climb piece, like you said, is the structure it gives. But yeah, the real value is understanding the thinking behind the questions.
Okay, first up, seems pretty straightforward. What experience do you have in business development? Simple question, but what are they actually digging for?
Well, it's definitely more than just job titles. They're trying to gauge your actual level of experience, sure, but more importantly, the impact you've made.
Impact.
Yeah. And the article hits this hard. You need specific examples, quantifiable results. That's key.
So saying something like, oh, I brought in new clients isn't quite enough.
Probably not, no. It's a bit too vague. The examples in the article are much better, like, I signed 3 new contracts in 6 months.
Okay, specific time frame, specific outcome.
Or I increased company revenue by 15%. See? Tangible stuff. It shows you weren't just busy, you were effective. You made a difference to the bottom line.
Right, it shifts from just listing tasks to showing actual results, and you want to tailor those examples, I guess.
Absolutely. Tailor them to the industry you're interviewing for. Make them relevant.
Makes sense. Okay, next one. What industries are you familiar with? Why does this matter so much to them?
This is really about fit. Do you understand their world, their market, the challenges, the opportunities?
So they want to know if you can hit the ground running, basically.
Pretty much, yeah. If you already know the landscape, you'll likely get up to speed faster.
So it's not about listing every single industry you've ever brushed up against?
Definitely not, no. The smart approach, like the article suggests, is to focus on industries directly relevant to them. Maybe even mention similar companies you've worked with.
Showing you've done your homework.
Exactly. If it's a tech company, you talk about your tech, software, maybe even specific advertising experience for tech firms. It shows you kind of speak their language.
Got it. Relevant understanding is key. Okay, number 3. How would you go about finding new business opportunities? This feels pretty central to the role.
Oh, absolutely. This gets right to your process, your strategic thinking.
Right.
How do you actually generate leads and build that pipeline?
They want to see you have a system, not just relying on luck.
Precisely. You need to articulate a clear approach. The article breaks it down nicely, things like research, competitor analysis.
Identifying companies that aren't clients yet.
Right, finding those gaps. And then, crucially, how you actually reach out. What are your strategies for making contact? It shows you have a thought-out plan.
So it's a mix of analysis and then proactive outreach. The article mentions research, competitors, targeting non-clients, and then like email or phone contact.
Yeah, it paints a picture of someone who is strategic and doesn't just wait for things to happen. They want proactive thinkers.
Makes sense. Okay, moving on. What strategies would you use to market a new product or service? This feels a bit more marketing focused.
It is, yeah, because BD often involves that, right? Understanding how to position and promote what you're selling, especially if it's new.
So what should you highlight here?
They're checking your grasp of marketing principles and how you'd apply them. So share examples of successful campaigns you've worked on. What strategies did you use? What channels?
And crucially, how did you measure it?
Yes, always back to measurement. The article gives that example of using, I think it was Facebook and Twitter, to target small businesses.
Leading to a 20% sales bump. There it is again, the measurable result.
Exactly. It shows you know how to reach an audience and actually drive sales. Okay, next is about connections. How would you develop relationships with potential clients?
This seems huge in BD. It's very relationship-driven.
Totally. They're assessing your people skills here, your strategies for building trust, for nurturing those connections over time.
So what kind of approach are they looking for?
The article stresses building trust, really digging into the client's needs and showing the value you bring. It's not just about selling, it's about partnering.
The example mentioned understanding their business, showing how you can help, maybe providing useful content, becoming a resource, essentially.
Exactly. A valuable partner, not just someone trying to make a quick sale. which leads nicely into the next one. What do you think is the key to success in sales?
Ah, the philosophy question. What kind of answers are they hoping for?
They want to understand your core beliefs about what makes BD work. The article points to things like strong communication skills, naturally, but also empathy.
Empathy. Interesting. How does that play in?
It's about truly understanding the client's perspective, their challenges. The example highlights active listening, connecting on a deeper level. It's that client-centric approach.
Right, not just pushing your agenda. Okay, then the motivation question. What motivates you to sell products or services?
Yeah, they want to know what drives you, what makes you tick in this kind of role.
So what are good motivators to mention?
Focus on things aligned with BD goals, like genuinely wanting to help businesses grow, finding satisfaction in seeing them succeed because of your work, and maybe the competitive side too.
The article mentions helping businesses boost revenue and enjoying the challenge of, beating competitors shows genuine enthusiasm.
Right. Now, a tough one. How do you handle rejections from potential clients? Because rejection happens a lot.
Definitely. So they're testing resilience here
Yeah.
and maybe how you learn.
Exactly that. Resilience and learning agility. Can you bounce back? And more importantly, can you learn from it? The key is to frame it positively.
How so?
See, rejection not as failure, but as feedback, an opportunity to learn. Why did they say no? What can you refine in your pitch or your approach?
So understand the why, use it to improve, and then move on. Don't let it stop you.
Precisely. It shows a growth mindset. Okay, then the highlight reel question. What would you say is your greatest achievement in sales?
Time to shine, but strategically. What should you pick?
Something relevant to the role, obviously, and clearly explain the skills and effort involved. The example was winning a big contract against a competitor.
But building strong relationships with the key people shows strategy and relationship skills.
Exactly. Okay, similar but slightly different. Can you give me an example of a time when you overcame an obstacle in sales?
Testing problem solving now. Adaptability.
Yep. Again, be specific. Describe the obstacle and then detail the creative solution you came up with. How did you navigate it?
The example given was about switching tactics. Right. From cold calling that wasn't working.
To getting referrals in the healthcare sector. Shows you can pivot, be resourceful when things aren't working.
Very important. Okay, now specific to the company. Why do you want to work for this company specifically? Homework time.
Absolutely critical. This shows your genuine interest versus just firing off applications. You have to demonstrate you've researched them.
So know their goals, their mission.
And clearly articulate how you fit in, how your skills align with what they need. The example mentioned passion for helping small businesses, linking it to the company's specific training programs, shows real connection.
Right. And then the question you always get at the end, do you have any questions for me? This isn't just politeness, is it?
Oh, definitely not. It's your chance to show you're engaged, you're thinking ahead, you're taking initiative. Never say no, I think you covered everything.
What kind of questions are good ones?
Thoughtful ones. Ask about growth opportunities, professional development, company culture, maybe challenges the team is facing. The article suggests asking about career paths, training, shows you're thinking long term.
Good advice. Then there's, how do you envision yourself contributing to the growth of our company, connecting the dots for them?
Exactly. Link your skills directly to their growth. Talk about your communication, your networking ability, how you'll use those to bring in clients. The example was about growing the client base via new relationships, using communication to build trust. Be clear about the value you bring.
Okay. And sometimes they ask about creativity. Describe a time when you utilized creativity in your sales approach.
Yeah, I want to see if you can think outside the box sometimes, not just follow a script.
So share an example of a non-traditional method.
Right. Something innovative you tried that worked. The example was using social media ads instead of just cold calling. Shows adaptability and willingness to try new things.
And what about complex sales? They might ask. Tell me about a complex sale that you were able to successfully close.
This probes your ability to handle the really tricky deals, the ones with lots of moving parts, multiple stakeholders, maybe long timelines.
So you describe the complexity, the strategy involved.
Definitely. Talk about the different interactions, the detailed proposal, the strategic approach needed. The example was developing a whole digital marketing strategy for a client who'd had 0 results before, leading to a huge sales increase. Shows you can manage complexity and deliver big results.
Wow, okay. And one more practical one. What steps do you take to prepare for meeting with a prospective client? Checks your professionalism, maybe.
Professionalism, organization, diligence. Yeah.
Yeah.
They want to see you don't just wing it.
So outline your process.
Exactly. Researching the client, their business, their goals, preparing your materials, thinking about their potential questions and concerns, arriving early, reviewing notes. It shows you're thorough and respect their time.
Okay, so wrapping this up, this deep dive really highlights some key things. It's not enough just to say you have experience.
No, you absolutely have to back it up. Specific, quantifiable results are crucial. Show your impact.
And show you understand their industry, have a real strategy for finding and nurturing leads, and possess those core soft skills, communication, problem solving, relationship building.
Definitely. And hopefully, by understanding the why behind these questions, you, our listener, feel better equipped, not just to answer them, but to really talk confidently about business growth and the value you bring.
It really prepares you for that conversation. So, maybe a final thought to leave everyone with. Think about these core ideas we discussed.
Understanding needs, building relationships, driving results.
Right. How do those apply outside of a formal sales or BD role? Where else in your life could you maybe use a bit of that business development mindset to connect with people and achieve a goal?
Hmm, that's an interesting angle. Could be anywhere, really.
Definitely something to think about. Thanks for taking this deep dive with us today.